Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome, of course, to the lecture here. We're going to talk a little bit more. I know this is a supplemental extra lecture. We're going to talk a little bit more about how to do your research. So you want to find a case that's interesting to you. That's what the legal research paper is about, finding a case and making sure that you understand the insight for that case. And I'm going to open the instructions really quickly so you have the data here before we jump any further. Did the original lecture, of course, I gave an overview of the basics behind your legal research paper and the requirements. So I actually expanded that overview in these instructions so you can open this up and it gives you even more detail about how to format things and some tips and tricks. So this is the directions from start to finish, what it looks page by page. I want to make sure, of course, you have a title and a cover page. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because you're already going to see this in the other lecture. But you want to make sure you have a legal analysis, and then you want to include your references. You have a content blueprint here as well, so tons of information that you can use. And then your presentation is going to be about 3 to 5 minutes, and it's going to be using screen record. It doesn't have to be like actual camera showing you in like you talking per se. It can be the screen instead. So that's ready for you to go from that perspective. It's not as challenging as you might think. It's going to be, you can actually just share your paper and talk about it that way. But just to make sure, you want to make sure that you find a case and you're going to write about the case. You got to cite the case, and then you got to have a few references, to minimum. And you might ask, hey, there's one case, how's it going to have multiple references? Well, you can find articles related to that case. Maybe you're doing a case on a physician who works in cardiology and had an accident with a patient and got sued. You can pull a cardiology reference, a scholarly reference out there, and use that to supplement your case study. Okay, so I'm going to hop out of this and I'm going to go back into the folder and we can take a look at how to find a case for you that might interest you. First thing I'm going to do here is go to Google Scholar, and I'll pop over there, and you can type it in the URL Google Scholar, and it'll take you to a few things that I want to show you. The thing about Google Scholar, it's going to have a ton of cases. You just have to click case law here. You can select what court it's in, federal court, case law, and it'll show you a bunch of cases. I'm having an issue with Google Scholar right now. When I search, it gives me an error, so I'm not going to move on to the next page, but it's really helpful for finding research that you want. There's a ton of healthcare, and I say research cases. There's a ton of healthcare cases out there, of course. That's one of the challenges of working in healthcare. It's life-saving treatment at times, and there's often issues behind that. So that's why there's so many cases. And one of the reasons, right, that we take this class just to make sure we protect ourselves and our patients. But tons of cases out there that you can use from the Google Scholar side of the house, and I recommend using that. You can use any case. It doesn't have to be within a certain number of years. It can be 20 years back, but a lot of great data in there for you to take a look at. Now we're going to hop to the PMI library, and that's another place where you can find really great information related to your case and your paper. So I included a link to the library right here under Legal Research and Community Forum, so it's located here. We're going to pop over to that. And when you open it, it's actually, I'm going to show you what it looks. It looks like this. So it's PMI online library. You got your databases, EBSCO and ProQuest. A lot of great journals in here. Tons of information in relation to clinical stuff. And depending on what, of course, you're studying, you could find a ton of information needed in order to do your research. But I ended up clicking on EBSCO, and I'm going to search for a few things and show you some tips and tricks. A pretty interesting periodical here that you can use. Why patients sue. You don't want to use this now because I'm pulling it up, but I'm saying it's one of the examples. So I clicked on the link. I typed in the search up here, clicked on the link for the page itself, and then what I wanted to show you is, I'm going to highlight it for you real quick. There's a little tab right here that you can click on, and when you open that, it's going to cite your publication for you in APA style. All you got to do is copy and paste it. It's already in hanging format. It's ready to go. Of course, this is going to be just, it's not going to be cases in here because you're going to have to find that in Google Scholar case law, but they're going to be references to scholarly material in here that you can use to supplement your cases. So lots of great information that you can pull from here. It's a great database, something that you get, of course, through school, and I would really use it because it'll help you cite, and you don't have to go through all the stress of figuring out how to do it. Sometimes it's wrong, so I know we have our APA overview, so if it looks off, you can always email me to ask. I'm happy to help with that. All right, I'm going to pop back over to our module that we're in now, so APA writing. So you had your overview, which of course is your first lecture, and this is your second lecture, but be sure to watch all these other supplemental videos, APA 7th edition information. I know it's a lot, but that's one of the reasons you don't have homework this week, is because I want you to focus on how to write an APA, and then also how to find your case that you want to talk about. And just to go back to Google Scholar really quick, make sure you use that case law, and you'll be able to get a lot of information in there that really helps you find something that you're interested in. So there's tons and tons of information. Again, I would do a search, but I'm having an error for some reason with Google Scholar. I think I have something with my browser here that's not, it doesn't like. So it's really easy, very simple. It'll cite for you as well. So when you search, there'll also be a little citation button on the bottom of the platform. I'm going to show you what that looks like. One second. Because I can't pull it up, I just did a screenshot here, or I pulled a screenshot just from images. And this little, see where the little arrow is on the right side? It's that little cite button. You can cite that way too. Case law will do it as well. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. But that's a broad overview of how to search for cases, how to get your cases ready to go. So hopefully this was helpful for you. And if you needed anything further, you wanted to learn anything else, please reach out. I'm happy to help you in any way. But I think you guys are going to really fly through this. It's really interesting when you find a case that's, compelling, and it's interesting when you write about it because you really have to dig in and really understand the material. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Here to help you in any way. Thanks so much.